It's Malcolm, and welcome to Loung'n Out, where we discuss everything fragrance related, from reviews to unboxings and everything in between. So if all that sounds great to you all, make sure you click the subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. You can shoot over, check it out, and if you like it, give it a thumbs up. But if you dislike it, don't be afraid to let me know in the comment section why you dislike the video so I can use that feedback as a means to improve my content. So with that being said, let's get into today's topic. So as you saw with the thumbnail as well as the title, today we're going to be talking about a fragrance that I just got in about a week ago that I've been wearing for half the week, and it's from the house of Mancera, Amore Caffe. I will say, as you can tell, I got the 60 ml bottle because honestly that's all I need. I've been ordering 60 ml bottles for quite some time now. I got about 12 different fragrances from the house of Mancera, and honestly I can say that this is probably one of the best fragrances that I've gotten my nose on, at least in the past 6 months, or even from the house of Mancera itself. Ordering this fragrance, this 60 ml bottle, they actually sent me a smaller sample size, this carded sample envelope thing here, which is pretty cool, and it looks like a pretty decent size sample, to be honest. I mean, if you look at it, this looks like you can get at least three to four, maybe even 5 wearings out of this bad boy, depending on how much you spray, that is. So getting into this fragrance, I will say that it does hold up to the hype. I don't know what you've heard about it, if you've heard anything about it, but for me, what stands out, the coffee note, the amaretto note, the ice cream note. And honestly, I didn't really think that they would be able to pull off making anything smell like ice cream, even though yes, in the Tom Ford Noir Extreme, they have that coffee note, which is like a Italian ice cream dessert. The ice cream that I'm familiar with, they pulled it off in this fragrance, and it smells amazing. I put my hoodie on that I wore for like one day with this fragrance, like again maybe a couple days later, and I was still able to smell that ice cream. This fragrance was, I don't want to say overpowering the fragrance that I had on, which was Elysium, but I can smell this more so than Elysium, and I was just fine with that because it was that rich ice cream note, the vanilla in here, as well as like the cherry almond nuance that you get from the amaretto liqueur, and you do get a little bit of that booziness whenever you first spray the fragrance on from the amaretto in here. And I will say the coffee note in this fragrance reminds me of the coffee in Loung'n Caffe, though when it goes to the dry down in Loung'n Caffe, it's a much different fragrance from Amore Caffe. Okay, this stays kind of syrupy sweet, so if you don't like a syrupy sweet fragrance, then this might not be for you. Okay, Loung'n Caffe, it dries down to a much more woodier and fresher fragrance, and a much more mature fragrance, if I must say so myself, because I do feel like, not that this is an immature fragrance, but I feel like this is a much more playful fragrance, the Amore Caffe that is. But it is a great fragrance, even though I say that it's a much more playful, a much more, I mean, honestly, yeah, I could say it's a sexy fragrance, to be honest. I mean, this is a fragrance that I would wear taking somebody out on a date to go get some ice cream, and maybe take them to where I'm from. We have a place called 812 Rec Bar, and it has all the like the vintage arcade games. It's a bar and grill where you can get some drinks. You can pretty much live up the nostalgia days, you know, back in the 90s where you wanted to play Mortal Kombat 2, you can play some Tekken, Street Fighter, you can play some skee ball, pinball, what have you, and have a good time while drinking some beer, or even get you an amaretto on a rock, or some sort of amaretto cafe cocktail if you so choose to pick that up, just to stay with the theme of the Amore Caffe. But this, I would say this is a little bit more sophisticated, it's a little bit more mature, but that's not to discredit the Amore Caffe in the least bit. I honestly feel like they pulled out all the creative juices on this one, and they made a bang up fragrance. This is the fragrance to write home about. I got Tonka Cola, and I'm okay with that. I still got to give that a few wearings to give my overall impression or opinion about that fragrance, because I'm kind of in between on that fragrance. It kind of gives me a little grandpa vibes when it comes to that fragrance. And I do pick up the tonka, the cherry cola, the cinnamon, and all the other spices that fragrance has to offer. But it's still something about that fragrance that I haven't come to terms with, okay? But I also picked up Amber Fever, which is another one of my favorites from the house of Mancera. I picked up Cosmic Pepper, that's a good one, as well as Royal Vanilla. And I've worn that just as much as I've worn Tonka Cola. Not to say that it's not that great, but I feel like maybe that fragrance needs to maturate a little bit more in order for me to pick up all that it has to offer. But with this here, straight out the box, it's a banger. You know what I mean? I smell the ice cream, I smell the amaretto, the coffee. I mean, it's a delicious smelling fragrance. Like I said, it's very playful. And again, if you're not really into syrupy sweet fragrances, then I really wouldn't recommend this fragrance to anyone. But if you are, or if you're willing to experiment a little bit, I would say to go outside of the box and pick up something like this. I will leave a link in the description if you all are interested. But I do think, again, Mancera has knocked this out the park. I worn this 3 days last week, and I'm already starting to put a little dent into it. But even though I got a 60 mil instead of the 120 mil, I'm gonna be just fine. I mean, because springtime is starting to roll around, and I feel like maybe early spring you can get away with this fragrance as well as during the day. But I do think that this will serve as a great nighttime scent for if you were to take somebody out on a day or any nighttime outings that you would like to participate in. You know what I mean? But honestly, it's creative in my opinion. It really is. I really do think that they've done a great job with this fragrance. It's like I said, it's honestly one of the best fragrances that they put out over the last year. As far as the notes in this fragrance, up top you are going to get that coffee. You're going to get that booziness, that cherry, almondy, boozy accord from the amaretto note up top in this fragrance. And then once it dries down a little bit more is where you're going to pick up that ice cream note with the vanilla. And then when you get down to the base, you're going to get that warm, rich brown sugar note with the vanilla, as well as some of the ambergris in this fragrance. I mean, this is, again, I keep saying, I want to say this over again, that this fragrance is definitely something to write home about. And I do think that this is a great unisex fragrance. I do think that both genders can get away with wearing this. I think if my wife wanted to wear something along the lines of something more playful and sexy, I would recommend this to her, and then I could wear it the very next day and have no problems with it. I think Mancera is definitely bridging the gap between male and female fragrances. You know what I mean? So I think when it comes to Mancera, yes, they're going to have more masculine fragrances. Yes, they're going to have more feminine fragrances, but they definitely have something for both. People who don't mind wearing something a little bit more unisex, and this is definitely one of those fragrances. Like, I think that I can pull this off well, again, and I think my wife will be able to pull this off well, and it could be the same situation for you guys. Okay, I'm definitely waiting to wear this again, but spring is definitely around the corner. It's starting to warm up a little bit more, which, I mean, it could be due to climate change or whatever, but we are still having some pretty cold days, and that's when I like to pull this out. You know, if I'm wanting to warm up some, I definitely think that this is a fragrance that is going to warm up again from the brown sugar note in the base, as well as the coffee note up top. You know what I mean? Like, there's definitely a lot of warm, rich notes in this fragrance, and it's definitely going to be something that's going to take you aback, because this is different. This isn't something that's cookie cutter. This isn't something that you're going to be able to just walk into any store and find right off the shelves. I mean, you're going to walk into a place and people are going to ask you what is that you're wearing, because they're probably going to pick up the coffee, the ice cream, or even the amaretto, depending on who the person is. But honestly, they knew what they were doing. Somebody has great taste when it comes to perfuming, and again, I recommend this fragrance to any man or woman. Okay, so that's Amore Caffe by the house of Mancera. Again, I'm going to leave a link in the description, and please be sure to check this out. All right, so what did y'all think about that video? What did you think about my return in the whole YouTube game? It's been a minute. It's been a few months since I've returned to YouTube or put anything out on YouTube. I had to take a break. I've been doing a podcast here lately, which I will leave a link in the description for you all to check out. Just been having fun with the podcast, and just wanted to see if I want to continue doing the YouTube thing versus the podcast, or both. But as I'm doing the podcast, I realized that, I do miss doing these YouTube videos, and I have still been buying fragrances, as you could tell. And I got a few other videos that I've been recording. So don't think that I haven't been doing anything as far as like YouTube, or trying to do anything as far as like recording for YouTube, but I'm definitely getting back into it. And I hope that you all enjoy this video. So let me know in the comment section if you tried Amore Caffe, if you like it, if you dislike it, or if you're interested in trying it. And maybe, who knows, maybe this sample can be for you all. If you hit the thumbs up and let me know what's your favorite Mancera fragrance, maybe this sample card could be for you all. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. All right. Peace.